protesters to not only stand with signs opposing them, but to also interfere, track, monitor, dox these agents. It has caused a very dangerous, volatile situation. And, you know, you would think that the Democrat Party would have leaders looking at this saying, hey, we got to tap this down. We got to dial back. We got to stop encouraging citizens from committing federal crimes themselves. U.S. Code 18111 says basically if you are obstructing and, God forbid, assaulting law enforcement officers, you're committing a crime, but yet the rhetoric doesn't stop. So what do Democrats do? A handful of Democrats from Washington held a field hearing in Minneapolis where they called the mayor and others to testify, and they ramped up the rhetoric even more. It was really quite jaw-dropping. Here's a sample of what they said.
We are seeing horrifying videos of ICE agents battering down people's doors without a warrant, racially profiling people on the street, busting in car windows and trying to intimidate and suppress the First Amendment rights to peacefully protest.
I will say it loud and proud because the DH secretary had a few choice words for me, but this looks like modern-day slave patrols.
What you are describing is a full-scale hostile invasion of the city by thousands of violent federal agents asking for people's papers, breaking into people's cars and homes in scenes that evoke Nazi Germany or Stalinist Russia.
The one place where we thought we would never experience this is the U.S. states.
Police before I'm disabled, so I can go to the doctor up there.
Does this make you feel strong? Yeah, man! Get back! Hey, go that way! Hey, back the fuck up! Sidewalk, 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 sidewalk. Force is not law! Force is not law! You are not following the law!
Police before I'm disabled, so I can go to the doctor up there.
Does this make you feel strong? Yeah, man!
Meantime, here at home, a new series of immigration raids sweeping across Southern California. Civil rights groups say at least 20 ICE operations taking place from East LA to downtown, including this one in Montebello. Cameras catching agents climbing onto a roof to chase construction workers there. Eyewitness News reporter Abigail Velez live tonight with what neighbors saw and how the workers involved are responding. Abigail?
Well, Mark, they tell me it was a chaotic scene. This is the neighborhood where ICE came swarming in this morning, eventually climbing onto the roof of a home and chasing construction workers as those workers bounced from house to house. I spoke to the workers' boss, and he tells me that no one was detained, but those workers now are afraid to come back to work. And the neighbors we spoke to in this area tell me they feel equally as nervous. Surveillance video shows the moment ICE agents arrive at this Montebello home Wednesday morning. An unmarked truck pulls up on Wilbur Street. Agents jump out. They fan around the house, and within seconds, one of them is climbing a ladder onto the roof. The construction workers up there run, jumping from roof to roof, trying to get away. No one is detained, but the fear is immediate and obvious.
They were just scared, actually, just feared for their lives. I mean, they didn't know what was happening.
The man who hired the crew, a contractor named Manny, says he rushed over when he heard what happened. He found his crew nervous and scared, so he did the only thing he could think to do.
We just gathered and I prayed for all of them, and I prayed for their protection, and that God would just give us peace during this troubled time.
Manny says this doesn't just affect the people ICE targets. It affects everyone trying to work and survive.
What warrant? Wait.
Under Fourth Amendment, your home is your castle, and if you do not invite them in, it is a blatant constitutional violation to break down a door with a battering ram, especially when they know that there's a 9-year-old inside. With most people with deportation orders from countries like Liberia, if they're not a danger to the public, our government for decades has offered essentially grace. You know, we'll let you stay because it'd be dangerous to send you back.
There's nobody in here but my babies. Sugar, stay in your room and shut the door.
He checked in just, several days ago, and he would have had another check-in in a couple of months, I believe. So if he's this dangerous person, then why are they letting him walk around? It's clear that this is all about terror and intimidation. You know, if the federal government was concerned about fraud, and we all are, then why not send an army of accountants? Okay? You don't need weapons to look into somebody who's doing fraudulent billing practices.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem HaKodash, the blindness to my apostles and elders of Ray Millstone. Peace and blessings be unto the elect. This is Brother Dawadah from GMS Detroit Camp, coming at you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem HaKodash. And today, this will be another GMS on the go, on my way to camp. And Lord's will, this video will be edifying to the elect. Now, you saw the opening few clips, which I pretty much stockpiled, a few videos showing the situation that's going on, all right, all across America concerning, the ICE, the ICE incidents, and people are getting more and more upset, because of this this tyranny that we're seeing, And here it is. You have the Vice President, J.D. Vance, I believe his name is. He pretty much defended, the actions of that ICE agent, that ended up, unaliving that I believe she was an Edomite, if I'm not mistaken. But he ended up unaliving that woman, and it made headlines all across America. All right, and all across America, you have these different ICE agents coming up to, Northern Kingdom Jakes, and simply just, asking them to present their papers and, where they from and whatnot. But let's grab some scriptures on it, because ultimately, this is the time period that we're living in, and if you think this is bad, this ain't nothing compared to what they're getting ready to do. All right, real quick, 2nd Ezra chapter 15. This is nothing. This is a walk in the park for these guys. They're getting ready to do worse. Them being the government. 2nd Ezra 15 verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, And when people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Yeah, in modern day sword is a gun. So there's going to be race wars, race riots. You know, people are going to be in a state of great unrest. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. So they're not going to care about what their state legislators, the politicians, the governors, the mayors, you know, the president, the vice president. They're not going to care about what these different people in office will have to say. You know, different decrees, hey, you guys need to stop doing that. They're not going to give a damn. This is the time period known as Jacob's trouble, which we're approaching. All right, which what you see right now, this is nothing compared to what they're getting ready to do. Okay? It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. The course of their actions shall stand in their power. So this is the time period that we're living in. All right? A time period of great civil unrest. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. You know, eventually they're going to lock these different cities down. All right, to where you can't get from, let's say, Detroit to Kalamazoo or Kalamazoo to Lansing. These are different cities major cities within Michigan. You know? And likewise, it's going to take place all across America because they're going to lock this whole place down. All right, even to the point where you're not able to maneuver. All right, it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. All right, we're seeing some of that now, but it's only going to get even worse to the point where they're going to be, you know, unaliving many people. It's going to look like that movie Bird Box. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. This is the time period that we're coming into, and it's going to get worse. You know, especially for you women out there. If you ain't got no man to help you out, it's going to get critical. And the man that you really need is a man of the Lord. All right. But with that, you know, I just want to do a quick hit showing, you know, some updates on this ICE situation, you know, before camp. All praises, honors, and glories be to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahshua, the blood of my apostles and elders. All right. Peace and blessings to the elect. And, you know, real quick before I close out, you know, it's not wise, especially not just Northern Kingdom, but Jake in general, it's not wise to just be out here like that. You know, it's wise to get from point A to point B, not point A, B, C, D, E, F, when all you needed to do was go to point A and go to point B, you know. So, you know, use wisdom out here. Shalom.